Hello everyone, just thought I'd make a quick video again because I've had a couple of things come in over the last 2-3 days which I thought were worthy of comment. And starting off then, I have received a couple of emails and messages from Richard Hall recently. So I just wanted to remind you that in October the BBC produced a Panorama documentary which was a massive hit piece on Richard's reputation and his research into the Manchester Bang, which of course is very uncomfortable for some people to talk about. And I just want to give an update on that. A lot of people asked me how he was and stuff, and etc. So this is really just to mention that he's now put his paperback book with much of his research. I think it's about 400 pages or something, 440 pages. There you are. He's now published that on Amazon. That's happened within the last few days of making this video, which is mid-February 2023. And he basically, what he did was he had this on his website, then he temporarily took it down in the sort of aftermath of this Panorama documentary. There have been a few things going on in the background, which I think Richard will talk about when he wants to. But for the time being, he's decided to put this out and on Amazon, and he's got now 20 reviews, and you can read those if you want. Which is people that have already bought the one off his website, and they put reviews here to kind of get this going. He suspects that this is being shadow banned. Apparently, I haven't tried this, but I think if we try and put this into the search engine in Amazon, it may be just that it's fairly new in the title listing. I'm not sure how this Amazon search works sometimes, but if we put that in there, will it come up? Let's just see. I'll just do a search. I've been told that it won't come up. Well, it's come up for me, maybe because I've already accessed it or something, I don't know. But there you are. So you can go and have a look at that. Maybe if you've read the book or you want to post a review, you can go and do that and give Richard a bit of support. He is okay, he's fine, he's been beavering away on various things. And again, you can subscribe to his email list. So you can go to this link. Again, a lot of people write to me about Richard. We do communicate, but I don't suggest topics to him very often. It's very rare that I will suggest a guest to him because I know that he's got very strong opinions on who he wants, what he wants to cover and stuff. So I leave that to him. And if he asks me to help him out, then I will. But other than that, I don't really sort of get involved with his research very much. Again, unless he asks me to, I let him get on with it in his own way because that's the way he likes to work, and that's generally the way I like to work as well. But you can sign up for updates. He also has a Telegram channel, which I did include a link to in this article here at the top. So you can subscribe to that as well. I think that's the Telegram. I'll click that link there, and then that will come up as well. And these will all go in the description. Sorry for the poor switching here. I don't know why that actually came up there. So you can go to the Telegram app. You might have to download the desktop app, but it is there if you want to use it. Okay, so yeah, so that's that then really. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was this nonsense which has been coming out. You see here we've got MSN stories, UFOs are making headlines, blah 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 blah. Then we have, for example, scientist on NASA's UAP panel shares thoughts on Lake Huron UFO. That's on Newsweek. That was on the 14th of February, and we see a military person there talking about it. I'm not even paying much attention to this really. You can tell why. BBC stories: high altitude object shot down off Alaska. And they're not saying what it is. And then we've got this Chinese spy balloon meme that was on Newsround. That's been doing the rounds in other stories as well. And then we've got White House defends decision to shoot down flying objects. What are the flying objects? They haven't used the UAP term just in the headline there. Let's see. I'm not even going to read this. I'll perhaps do a search for it. Because, of course, these journalists are shame stream journalists. Remember, they don't really do any investigative journalism anymore. They just reword press releases and maybe give a few sort of vague comments, but there's nothing really of any substance in any of this stuff. It's just all agenda driven by corporate, military and government agendas. That's all it is. But the most interesting of these headlines, and this one was sent to me by Matt Waterman, was this one from well, it's actually MSN re-feeding Newsweek or Spewsweek or whatever you want to call it. Spewsweek. I've just come up with that because spew is another word for sick, and these outlets all make me sick for obvious reasons. So Senator warns people to lock your doors after classified hearing on UFOs. So is this particular headline, to me, is it like a step higher, if you will? I don't know how to describe it. It's like a step further down the line. It's interesting to note that the name of this senator here is none other than John Kennedy. Again, I don't know whether he's part of the Kennedy family. He could well be. I haven't researched this. Feel free to do your own research. So I'll include these all there for you in the description. So I just wanted to, and also this was posted on Facebook by somebody which I quite liked. Typical sort of Biden, just this mouthpiece robot, empty shell of a person who is allegedly president of the US, but I certainly question that. And so I want to remind people also that I did post this article, let's see, getting on for 2 years ago now, not quite 2 years ago, UFOs, the Pentagon and the Shamestream media. This is now applicable again to the current stuff that's coming out. This information in here, it just completely, dismantles all of this propaganda that's coming out now, and would, if reported accurately, which it won't be, of course, completely neutralize all this scammery that's going on, not only with the current nonsense that I've just shown you here, but much more, the climate change agenda and all of that, and the COVID agenda too, which we've spoken of. And then to add on a little bit, I'll just mention a couple of links on the COVID narrative, as I haven't talked about that for a while. The sudden deaths continue, the latest being Belgian goalkeeper, who was only 25, dies on the field right after making a saving penalty kick. So he's the latest. And this is going on, and I have to also mention here briefly that we had a sudden death in my own family a little bit before Christmas. I won't go into details here, but again, you can kind of guess the rest, which I'm not going to say. And then again, recently, in the last couple of days, Nicola Sturgeon has gone. So this follows, the resignation of the New Zealand PM a few weeks or months ago. And then, of course, we've had the whole shenanigans with the UK PM. So it seems none of these leaders now can hold their position. Well, not none, but there are quite a few that have been jettisoned or have gone out of office or whatever. So maybe, this is a sign of other things to come. I don't know exactly what, but there you are. It's happened again. And then I was sent this link, which makes quite interesting reading. I didn't read all of it. I was on the NHS COVID frontline, but quit when I saw the harm we were doing. This is written by Dr. Ishwaran Kohelathas. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's my best effort. And I did read this, and it's a bit slightly odd. I mean, he says he's a doctor, but there's certain things in here which say he isn't a doctor. I'm not really sure. It was just a bit odd. So I did have a slight amount of suspicion about it. But there again, there's some key points raised there if you want to look at those. Yeah, it's still ongoing. The mainstream media, of course, are still not saying sorry to anybody for their part in mass maiming and potential murder, really. So, I don't know when that will probably never change. But hopefully people will gradually switch off and unplug, which is what they deserve. And through that process, maybe they will just fade away into obscurity. But really then, that's all I wanted to say for now. So again, thanks for listening, and thanks for your support, and I wish you well.